Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're going to do a quick buyer's guide on this W221 Mercedes S-Class. So really good value for money these at the moment. I'm here with the owner as well. He's going to talk us through kind of what to look for if you're looking at getting one of these.
So it's a long wheelbase W221 S-Class, model years 2006 to 2013. They facelift in 2010. I went for a pre-facelift long wheelbase because it has more options and stuff on it. So in regards to buying, what I'd look for is, firstly, make sure none of the headlights or anything are cracked, because they're really expensive, the Xenon ones. Look around the front wheel arches, because these are actually metal, and Mercedes has a history of rusting. It's a bit grubby, but the inside edge, you just want to make sure there's no rust on there. Same with the rear wheel arch. And as for the actual bodywork, it's just same as any old car really. You want to make sure it's not got any bubbles, nicks, scuffs, dings. And because it's a Benz, checking out for rust mainly. If it does have the soft close features on it, you want to make sure those work. So if you open the door, it won't soft close on the first latch, it'll soft close on the second. You want to make sure that works because it's quite an expensive unit to replace that. And that's individual to all four doors.
Okay.
So under here, this is the only diesel engine they offer in these in the UK. This is the OM642. So when buying this, obviously like any other car, you want to look out for any suspicious leaks or anything that looks a bit suspect. But generally, if it's going to leak fuel, it might be from the high pressure pump, which is on the front here. This is nice and dry. This is your power steering fluid. They can leak sometimes, so it's worth checking these. And specifically on these, on the inlet side of the turbo, this orange seal here and this seal here for the breather, those two orange seals, you want to make sure those are fresh, preferably at every other service, because underneath that you've got the inlet port shut-off motor. And if that fails, it'll send it into a limp mode and you won't really be able to drive. Then everything else is generic. You just want to make sure the coolant is nice and fresh, brake fluid's clean, oil dipstick is on the front. You want to make sure that's nice and clean, and you can inspect the fan belt from here as well. You don't actually need to take anything off.
Not sure if you guys can see that down there. Yeah. I mean, does this engine have any issues with cam cover gaskets leaking or anything like that, or generally they're okay on this one?
Oh, it's good on this lump. I mean, the forums will have you believing either they break every 5 minutes or you can do 400,000. There's very little in between. I mean, this is my third S-Class. The one I had before this had the same engine and I did 25,000 on that. And apart from regular servicing and changing those seals and stuff, nothing ever went wrong. So this relay here, that controls the glow plugs when to ignite them and stuff. Now these CDI engines, they pulse them during heavy acceleration. They don't just use them for a cold start. So if you get a glow plug light in there, like my previous S-Class, changing this relay, that will fix that problem. It's not necessarily just a glow plug.
How much does that cost, that one then?
That one from Mercedes-Benz is $350, but if you look at the actual part number, it's a Beru relay, and you can use that from, say, a Jeep or something that uses the same engine. Because obviously Daimler Chrysler crossover.
Yep.
And that's £95 eBay.
Okay. That's really good. Right, Slim, how many batteries has this got? This is the one here under the engine bay.
Yeah. So this one is for the actual engine starting. It's got another one the same size in the boot. That's for the auxiliary stuff. So you know, your seats inside and your command and whatnot. And then it's got a third one in the dashboard. That's a tiny one. That's just for emergency. If these two ever fail, you can pop it out of P into neutral for towing and whatnot, loading.
Okay, so at least you can get the car mobile.
Yeah.
This one here, is this standard on every S-Class or is this part of the options?
Oh no, so that's if you have the Distronic cruise control. So that's, you can set cruise control like a normal car, but you can set it a specific distance to another car in front of you. And you can increase or decrease that distance depending what kind of safety zone you want really. And it will react depending how the lane goes. So if you start cutting out of a lane, even though you're approaching the back of another car, it won't cut the cruise off. But if you look like you're staying in the same lane and you do not touch the steering wheel, it'll start backing off the accelerator and start slowing the car down to make sure you obviously maintain the distance.
Okay.
Now this specific car, it's got the Distronic Cruise, it's got night vision, it actually has double glazed windows as well, which they stopped offering when they facelifted the model. I'll show you. So you can see the top of the glass is actually 2 panes.
Yeah.
When they facelifted it, they went to the laminated glass, so it's only a single pane, quite fat.
Yeah, you can just see that. So it must be really, really quiet in there.
Yeah, I mean, you can see on the doors, it's got double door seals, double glazed windows. This particular model, why I went for it, is because obviously it was very well loaded. So this has the comfort seats in the front, which means you get these funky headrests. They're really soft. If I get in there, you can actually bend them. You can bend them like that, so you can kind of cushion your head.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's got Alcantara lining on the A pillars, the entire roof lining, B and C pillars. It's all Alcantara. Now that's standard in a 600. Obviously optional extra in this model. The seats standard in an S-Class are electric, but in this one obviously it's electric, but they're heated and memory as well. And
Okay.
in this one it's the same in the back, electric heated with memory.
And on these, can you can control the passenger side seat there from here as well?
If I press that button with the little L,
Yeah.
now it's lit up. If I move that, say, forward and back, I can move that seat from here.
You guys can just see that. So that's being controlled from the driver's side. So you just obviously want to make sure all the electrics and things work,
And
because there's a lot to check. Yeah. So how can you tell if this one's a long wheelbase? Is it just the back door here?
So the size of the door is the best part of 5 or 6 inches longer. So if you crack it open, the door's huge. Generally, the long wheelbase, they've got a button on this door, and you can control both windows from either door in the long wheelbase.
Oh, okay.
In a short wheelbase car, you can only, like a conventional car, control your individual side.
So it's exactly the same on the other side as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can, if someone comes up on that side of the car, you can chat to them. Those carpets in there on top are actually from a standard wheelbase S-Class, my previous one. I bought them just to stop it getting grubby, and you can see how much longer the long wheelbase carpet is underneath it.
Yeah. You guys can see the difference there between what would be a normal one and the extra few inches on the long wheelbase.
And I'm sure in these two facelifts, those rear headrests, you can actually drop on the button. So if you press this button, you can drop the headrest electronic and raise them at the same time.
Nice. Sorry, which button was that?
So in the center here, I've got a few buttons. Now, this is for raising and lowering the rear headrest. You press that and they're coming up.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Alright, perfect. Is there anything else we should look out for? Like, I don't know, wheel bearings and things like that. Do they tend to go on these, or is more of a maintenance?
Suspension components do get a hard workout, because you can see on the sill plate it comes in at about 2.5 tons of weight. So obviously your rubber bushes and whatnot, they do get worked harder than a normal car. But I mean, on the other one, before I sold it, I had minimal play. It was just starting to come, and I had about 65,000 on the clock.
Okay.
So that was quite good. Another option extra on this one is the boot. So you press that button,
Yep.
and you can electronically open the boot. I'll do that again.
Yeah, if you don't mind, yeah. Will it shut as well? Yeah.
Yeah, so you can hold the button shut, and you press the button, and it will open.
You probably end up getting a lot of people trying to close it manually, yeah?
Yeah, that's one thing.
And that can damage it.
Yeah, that's another thing to look out for on these. Those that do have electronic tailgate, make sure it works properly on the button, because how it should work is if you hold it a set time, it closes a set amount
Yeah.
as well. So if I hold it, say now, for a little bit, it'll only close a certain way, and if I let go there, it'll just stop. And that's how it should work. And then when you press it all the way, it closes.
I think in the UK, the bulk of the S-classes are all diesel, aren't they? Majority of them will be.
Yeah, I read it was something quite high, like 80-something% of them are normally sold in diesel, which makes sense, I suppose.
We're just going to have a quick look at the command system as well in here, see if it all works.
Oh yeah, another nice option is all this double stitch leather on this one. So it's got it on the doors.
So is that standard, or is it just for this But someone's ordered this.
Someone's ordered that for this particular car. So how this car is spec'd, with the double glazed windows, the Alcantara roof lining, and this double stitched leather, that's standard on the 600s.
Okay.
But that's an optional extra in this. But if you're going to look out for one, it makes a nice difference. Because otherwise you get that fake, it's quite rubbery. The textured stuff is not as nice. I had that in my previous one.
Oh, it feels really nice in here, yeah.
And just in here, you want to have a look through, make sure you can access all the menus like your nav, your audio, you got phones and whatnot. In this one, it has got optional extras, so it's got TV.
No, it's not.
Wow, it's pretty good.
Yeah, if you're waiting to pick someone up, like I am every now and then, 10-15 minutes, you can watch an episode or something.
Yeah.
Really?
And then you can go to the vehicle and make sure you can go through all the menus here. You've got system settings and there's a lot of stuff in there. And in regards to the audio, what you want to check. Got Aaliyah, please. In regards to the audio, you've got 6 CD changer in here. Again, you just want to make sure you can pop a disc in and out and it's fine. Because these units can fail sometimes. And if they do fail, it's a bit of dismantling to get it out. You just want to make sure that it all works fine. But it does.
So would you say that this car is something that you can DIY a lot of the work now? What year is this one?
This is 2008, so it's just on the cusp of a facelift.
Yeah.
Because 2009 was like changeover year.
And this engine, I mean, what is this, 3.2?
It's a 3-litre V6.
3-litre V6.
The code is the OM642.
Alright, perfect. And obviously this engine is used in a number of Mercs, isn't it? Comes in CLK.
CLKs, C's, E's, the Vitos, Sprinter vans, a whole host of things. So it works in a lot of places, in a lot of different cars. And for DIYing, yeah, everything I've done on this has been servicing, the lower arms, the ABS sensors, everything that I've done so far has been DIY. I haven't need to plug in a laptop, which is what you need with a lot of new cars, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Right, and we want to also check, you're just going to show us the air suspension as well, aren't you?
Yeah, so if you press this button, that's to raise the vehicle. Go. It should take about 30 to 45 seconds if it's a healthy pump.
Yeah, you guys can actually see that going up now. Should we go with a cut the wheel there? Right, I don't know if you guys can see.
That bar there, so that's the level sensor. That's what it uses to measure the ride height on the front of these.
Okay.
And it's got one on each wheel on the front and one on the rear anti-roll bar. And funnily enough, on this car, it actually broke on the way home from work. So what happens is they have a ball joint each side, they get rusted, they're season place, you go over a pothole, it breaks. If it breaks, the front of the car drops to the floor.
Is it still drivable at that stage to kind of get you home, or?
You can limp, but you're limping at about 10-15 mile an hour.
Okay.
So ideally, you do want to get them changed, or you want to ask if they have been changed if you're thinking about buying one. They're not expensive. I bought it from the dealer about 25 quid each.
Oh, that's good.
Again, it's just a DIY on each side.
Thanks for watching. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. Don't forget to share the video with anyone that's looking to get one of these. And if you like the video, like it and do subscribe to the channel as well.